Welcome to the Peachtree Podcast. Peachtree Learning Center is a nonprofit in Middle Tennessee dedicated to training and discipling students in all the fine arts to become excellent and skilled in order to spread the kingdom of God into the world of the arts. On this podcast, we will discuss topics designed to encourage, uplift, educate, and equip people to proclaim the kingdom more deeply in their own families and communities. Welcome to Peachtree's podcast this week. We're super excited coming off a great weekend of shows from our Drama 3 group who were able to perform 3 times the show of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And we were so thrilled to be able to provide them with great sound and light and costume support. And every one of the characters just really embodied the person they were supposed to be. They had great makeup and looked the parts, and then they were able to just feel the part. And it was so powerful to watch them walk out that beautiful story 3 times this weekend. We're very excited that we get to do one more show next Monday on May the 6th in our Sparta space, which is almost exactly the same space size-wise as the one we've been using in Cookeville. We're thrilled that we get to do it one more time as a going-away gift to ourselves, and we're very excited to get to share that again. But I've been ruminating on that story all weekend and the power that there is in telling a story well. And I've also coincidentally, wink, wink, been reading a book that talks about this. And the book is called Tending the Heart of Virtue. And it is by an author who is known for just insightful writing and thoughtful things. And his book subtitle is How Classic Stories Awaken a Child's Moral Imagination. And I want to be clear, I don't believe that morality is something to be taught just from stories, that we're supposed to pull out Aesop's fables and tell our children, now this is how you behave and this is why you don't do this. I do think there's a place for that, and that can be a fun thing. But he goes into stories like Pinocchio and Charlotte's Web, The Velveteen Rabbit, Wind in the Willows, all the way back to Little Mermaid, which has been around for hundreds of years, and talks about why those classic stories do a good job of illustrating moral principles at work in the universe in ways that modern stories many times do not. And they can be fun, and they don't even have to end happily every time, but they can. But there's so much moral fiber in those stories, partly because of the mindset that people had back then, just in constructing their society and interacting with each other. They understood principles that somehow in the last 80 to 100 years, we've really sort of let go of and don't necessarily practice in our daily lives quite the same way. We certainly don't think about them and let them inform our actions and our interactions. So there's a quote from that book right in the introduction I wanted to share. And it says, and I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit, but this is the gist of the quote. He says, "Children need to make moral distinctions. This need is a gift, a grace that humans are given. Some well-meaning educators and parents seem to want to drive the passion for moral clarity out of their children rather than use it to shape their character. We want our children to be tolerant, and we sometimes seem to think that a too sure sense of right and wrong only produces fanatics. Mostly we fall back on the excuse that we are respecting our children's freedom by permitting them to determine right from wrong and to choose for themselves clear goals of moral living. But this is the paean of a false freedom that pays misdirected tribute to a deeply flawed notion of individual autonomy. We end up forfeiting our parental authority and failing to be mentors to our children in the moral life." I believe that really sums up a lot of thoughts I have about story and why stories are important to inform imagination, to shape moral character, but not to be preachy. And there's a fine line there. It's fun to have stories that are fun and engaging and even silly sometimes, but the bulk of what we consume needs to be things that can inform us as people to live better lives and to be more human, and to fulfill 1 Corinthians 13 for each other, and to also fulfill Philippians 4:8, to put our minds on things above and not on things below, and just to be truthful in how we live and act with each other. I've really thought about that a lot this weekend with this show, and just how powerful the stories are that Mr. Lewis wrote in the series of Narnia tales, and how he was very true to the I guess, to the medieval mindset of storytelling in the way he told his stories. And that's going to become a really popular theme with us next year as we engage the medieval mindset in all of our classes and as our theme for the year. But just giving a little taste of that now, I really do believe that they had a sense of morality embedded in the way they interacted that informed their stories and informed their character building. It informed the way they shaped their society. And those principles were timeless. And somehow in the last 100 to 150 years, we've really let them be eroded away. Children nowadays just don't have the same input and they don't have the same structure to stand on. And when we tell them that they can be individual and choose their own truth, we are lying to them. And we are giving them a fake place to stand that will not stand the test of time. And it will crumble at the first signs of storms and the first signs of stress. So anyway, I wanted to just share that quote. I wanted to tell you that you have another chance to see Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. If you're in Sparta and you can come to our Sunday recital, we have a recital here for private students on Sunday afternoon at 3:00. And then going forward, we have just 2 more weeks after this week of classes and lessons and fun things to come. But stay tuned. Please engage us on social media and listen to our podcast to get more information. We've got several more events coming up for you to enjoy and to share and participate in. Feel free to check us out on our website and all of our places, and be thinking about what it is to tend your child's heart and to create a moral imagination in them that will last them for the rest of their lives. Thank you so much for joining us today. To support this podcast, please go follow us on your podcast platform of choice. And if you're interested in knowing more about the work of Peachtree, please go visit our website at peachtreelearningcenter.com for more information.